conflict at the 29th degree. So of course, this huge public fight between these two people who had this relationship, right, shows up when Venus is at 29 degrees. And also getting like extra fuel on the flames from Jupiter, because Jupiter making an exact sextile, okay? So enhancing that, just making this thing so big. And then we also had Mars at 23 degrees Leo, and that Mercury also right at 23 degrees. So again, too, another sextile here with Mars adding kind of more nastiness, more, even though, yeah, it's a sextile, which is technically it's a positive aspect, but still, Mars adding more, you know, zing to these tweets, to this communication. Just really fascinating. And because we had the timestamp, you know, also notice when that first tweet was sent, Mars was literally on the ascendant, right? Like Mars was just coming up. So again, this Mars energy was really strong when this whole thing kicked off. And also, we're going to look at the very odd similarity, because who else has Mars on the ascendant in their natal chart? Donald Trump. So also that Mars, and he's getting very close in the next few days. He's going to have Mars conjunct Mars in his chart. Mars is going to get to 26 degrees Leo and like really aggravate this point in his chart. So the story, I do not think the story is over yet. We're going to see more. But also another point, if we look at Elon Musk's chart, okay, and now this is, his chart has a B rating, okay? So we're not 100% confident this is the accurate birth time, but a B rating, you know, it's not as bad as like a C or D rating. So I don't know. I kind of feel comfortable using it. I hope this is the right birth time, because if it is, it would make sense, because you can see his midheaven is at 28 degrees Aries. That means on Thursday, that Venus in Aries was right at the top of his chart, the most public area of his chart. And again, we all know how public this whole, you know, this whole confrontation was. So that would also check out. And then, yeah, gearing up for this week, we're going to get into it more in the overview, but we do have the full moon in Sagittarius. Okay, very late, around midnight Tuesday, so late Tuesday, early Wednesday. And that full moon will be at 20 degrees Sagittarius, okay, making a very close conjunction to Donald Trump's moon, his moon, and he was actually born, yes, during the full moon in Sagittarius, but it was also a blood moon eclipse. Okay, so which, right, that checks out. But I'm curious to see this week, is this moon, this whole thing in his chart, his moon, his nodes, this full moon is probably going to activate that in some way. So again, the story, I think it's still ongoing. And like I said, we're still ramping up to that Mars conjunction in his chart later next week as well. And Uranus is also going to be squaring Mars in his chart. So yeah, there's potential for more craziness, unfortunately. But yep, this is just the times we live in. Does anyone have questions on anything? Just pretty interesting, right? Okay, so no one has any more questions on that, we can get to, oops, actually didn't mean to close the screen. We can get to the rest of the month. Okay, the good news is we haven't really missed so far this month, even though I know we're 7 days in. The biggest thing that happened has been we had Venus finally move into Taurus. Hallelujah, everybody, right? because poor Venus, she has been this year, right? She was in Pisces, which she's exalted in Pisces. That's not a terrible place for her to be in. But Saturn was really hanging out a lot next to her. Saturn was kind of following her around the entire time she was in Pisces, which wasn't as much fun for her as it could have been. And then she went into Aries, her place of detriment. Not that, I think there are a lot of great things about Venus and Aries, but overall, it's not her favorite sign to be in. So it's a little uncomfortable, right? And then we also had that Venus retrograde too. So she hasn't been in her happy place for a while. So finally now she is in one of her home signs in Taurus, right? Venus rules Taurus. So for the next month, we get this lovely Venusian energy, even though, right, the sun is out of Taurus, but that's okay because we still get Venus in Taurus. So for the next month, right, this is about, what do you find luxurious? What do you find pleasure in? How can you appreciate the beauty in your life? How can you slow down a little bit more? How can you appreciate things a little bit more? How can you maybe take more time even in your relationships? For anyone in romantic relationships, how can you add sort of some more sensuality or, things like that? How can you luxuriate and enjoy each other's company a little bit more? What can you do that's special? This is also a good time just to like indulge, right? The things that you find joy in, meaning like, do you like to paint? Do you like to dance? Do you like to try new restaurants? I don't know, whatever it is, but let Venus, help you do those things, and especially sensory experiences, right? So things like, getting a massage or just like going to your favorite garden and bringing a picnic basket, right? Those kinds of things. So great for Venus and Taurus. So yeah, that's something that's going to, I think, give us some relief this month. And also, Taurus is an earth sign. So there's also that grounding. Well, and it's a fixed earth sign. So it's very grounding energy. It's very like, okay, I can put my 2 feet on the ground. I've got my bearings and I'm just here to appreciate whatever's coming my way. And I feel really like grounded in it. Venus in Taurus too, good for finances. Okay, this is a good time if you're looking to maybe start a savings account or maybe looking for a little part-time job or, whatever it is. But anything related to your finances, also really good for the next month. Okay, good. So that's our Venus in Taurus. Yay. Okay, now tomorrow, okay, here we go again, this 29 degrees, okay? Tomorrow we have the Jupiter-Mercury conjunction, okay? So they're lined up in Gemini at that 29 degrees, okay? So potent, very potent. This to me, again, I'm just like, is there more information gonna come out tomorrow? Is more tea gonna be spilled tomorrow? This just feels so gossipy and like on steroids to me, right? Like Jupiter, and Jupiter too is the planet of the truth. Jupiter does want to tell the truth. Jupiter wants the truth to come out. So I'm curious on the, collective stage, global stage, if we're going to get more big news bombs tomorrow about anything. But in general, for us, for our daily lives, this is really good just for communication. This is, if you're a writer, this is a great day to like do some writing, start a writing project. It's a great day just to have good conversations with people. If you're meeting up with friends later, you're probably going to have a nice time. It's also very social energy. So again, like seeing people socializing tomorrow, taking a class, this energy is really good for basically anything that has to do with your curiosity, So just reading a book you've been wanting to finally read, now it's summertime. I have time to read this book. Great, start reading it tomorrow. Anything intellectual, anything that you're curious about, explore it tomorrow. You can also, this is also good because Gemini is also like our local environment, okay? Like short distance little, travel journeys. So like a day trip or something tomorrow, or you drive an hour to go to your favorite lake or go for a hike, a nice little trip tomorrow, could be nice as well. But yeah, and some of us, yeah, maybe we will get some big news, maybe we are going to learn something significant tomorrow with with the 29 degrees. So we shall see with that one. Okay, and then later in the day, still tomorrow, we're going to have Mercury leave Gemini, okay, leave Gemini and head into Cancer, okay? And Gemini will be in Cancer, Mercury, excuse me, Mercury will be in Cancer through June 27th. So not too long, a couple weeks. We're going to have Mercury here. And then, yes, you guys, we are gearing up for another Mercury retrograde. So just take advantage of June when we're still retrograde free. But Mercury in Cancer is it's very much focused on emotion, on sensitivity. Okay, so this is good for having more meaningful conversations, being able to express your emotions with a little more ease, maybe feeling compelled to, you know what, I actually do want to talk about how I'm feeling. Also, it's good for like just sensitive conversations, maybe something that's like, ooh, I haven't wanted to bring this up, but with Jupiter or Mercury in Cancer, it's a good time to bring it up because there's a lot of compassion there in communication. It's also really good for listening, actually. Mercury in Cancer, really great for just reminding us to listen, right? It's water, like absorb what the other person is telling you. Don't feel like you've got to like jump in and say what you think and, do that right away. It's like absorb the information first. And then you can share your thoughts, or what you're thinking about it. Mercury in Cancer too, very can get lost in the past a little bit, or we're more likely to like travel back, our thoughts to like travel back to, oh, those memories, and I remember when it used to be this way, and oh, don't you remember that? Which can be good for, if you're seeing old friends, if you're catching up with old friends or family members, it's nice to reminisce, right, about those different times. And maybe you're going through photo books and you're having these memories flood back to you. That's very, very Mercury in Cancer. Also a good time for like any kind of like domestic projects, right? Things related to your home. Like maybe you want to finally organize, your cookbooks or your recipe books, or do some home improvements too. And creativity, there is something like, yeah, like photo albums, right? That kind of organizing, really good for Mercury and Cancer. Or just things related to like family heirlooms that you want to, maybe get cleaned up and maybe display in your home more. Okay, so that's Mercury in Cancer. And then what's crazy about this month is we have a lot moving into Cancer, which means every time a planet moves into Cancer, it's going to square our friends Saturn and Neptune down here in Aries. So later on the 9th, or excuse me, on the 8th, we will also have Mercury square Saturn. Okay, so this can just be on this specific day, right? Tomorrow, wow, there's so much going on tomorrow. I'm just realizing, I'm like, wait, we're still on June 8th. We started with the Jupiter-Mercury conjunction, the Mercury into Cancer, and now it's going to square Saturn. So that could also be issues with communication, actually. This can be, right, misinterpretations. This can be also more cautious thinking, or maybe you're holding yourself back. Maybe you want to say something, but you decide not to say it instead because you don't know what's going to happen if you do say it. I mean, the most obvious description is like brain fog, right? Or like writer's block, Mercury square Saturn, like Saturn, just like the thoughts aren't coming, they're stuck, they're not coming out. But it could also just be like maybe a serious conversation. Maybe you have to have a serious conversation with someone tomorrow. But other than that, it's not too bad of a pass. And it's quick too. Okay, and now finally, I think we're good to move to the 9th. Okay, so on the 9th, then we've got to have Mercury, then he's got to square Neptune, okay? This is more about misunderstandings, confusion, lack of clarity in communication. So, you know, on this day, it's like you want to just double check everything. It's kind of like Mercury retrograde. You want to double check, right, your text messages. Don't send the wrong thing to someone. Double check, you know, if you've got an appointment, make sure you know what time it's at, those kinds of things. You just want to double check information. And then also on this day, this is not one of my, it's not one of my favorite aspects. Poor Venus, okay, Venus square Pluto. Okay, so they're making a hard angle, Venus and Pluto. It's usually just not nice energy. I try to find the silver lining in all aspects, but Pluto Venus is kind of intense because there's a sense of a little bit of danger that comes out with this Pluto. It's kind of lines up with the Greek myth of when Persephone is kidnapped by Hades. That's kind of what I always think of with Pluto Venus when it's hard aspects. So like, because Pluto dominates, like Venus, she's not going to win over Pluto's energy. So, you know, this is kind of like it's controlling energy, it's possessive energy, it can be manipulative energy. So this applies to like relationships. There can be more possessiveness on the 9th. More control issues, power issues, right? Power struggles in relationships, and like someone who's trying to like dominate us in some way, or even like disempower us in some way. And it doesn't mean this isn't going to show up for everyone, but for some people it could. So just be aware that's like, nope, hold your ground. Don't get sucked into whatever, you know, game this other person might be trying to play with you. But also, as we know, Venus does represent women. So, you know, it's not a day to like go to a neighborhood you're not familiar with. It's not a good day to like not be paying attention to your surroundings. We'll just put it that way. That's the best thing I can say. But it only lasts about a day, so that's good. It's not like we have this for a week. Okay, and then we get, oh, never mind. He's already here. And then you can see that Jupiter has ingressed into Cancer for the first time in 12 years, okay? So every 12 years, Jupiter returns to the same sign. That's how long it takes for it to make a full loop. So we've got Jupiter in Cancer, which is going to be June 9th of this year through, I think, July 1st, okay, of 2026. So we have a solid year of Jupiter in Cancer, okay? Jupiter in Cancer, really nice. We call Jupiter exalted in the sign of Cancer, which means it's not Jupiter's home sign, but it's a sign that, again, like Jupiter does really well in Cancer energy. So what I like about the beginning of this month is we have Venus in her home sign, Jupiter in its exalted sign. Okay, so two are great benefics. We call these planets our benefics because they are positive planets. So they're both very happy this month. They are in good signs to be in. So they are happy, and hopefully we're going to get to absorb that happiness too. So Jupiter in Cancer, this is all about expansion of our emotions, of family, maybe family relationships, family issues, things related to home, basically things, yeah, home and family. Is Jupiter in Cancer, but it's very nurturing energy. It's very much, caring. It is sensitive. It is supportive. So this could be a time, well, yeah, I mean, you'll want to look at where specifically, where's Jupiter in your chart, what house. And I did send out yesterday your Jupiter in Cancer horoscopes. So make sure you read those, because you can look for your rising sign, or you might have to adjust it because they're approximate. But overall, read for the house that Cancer goes through, right, in your natal chart, because that's going to give you more specific information about, oh, where am I going to have this growth for the next year? But obviously, people who are Cancer rising, Sun in Cancer, Moon in Cancer, you guys are obviously going to really feel this energy more than anybody else. But then also the other cardinal signs, right? Aries, Libra, Capricorn, you're going to pick up on that too. And some water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, are going to feel it the most. But yeah, it's very positive. It's great for anything related to repairing relationships, repairing family relationships. Maybe some of you, your families are going to grow in some way. This can also be related to real estate, property, your actual home. Some of you are going to maybe move into new homes, or you're going to update your home in some way. And it's also too just like indulging in where you find comfort, right? Like, what are the things that bring you comfort and security? That's what you want to be focusing on for the next year. Okay, good. Then we're going to, I think that's it. Yeah, June 8th and 9th, very busy, a lot going on. Lots of shifts happening. Let's see, the 10th. Okay, nothing on the 10th. Then we get to, okay, the 11th is going to be our, and it's very early. Hold on a second. We'll get to our full moon. Or I guess it's at, I thought it was at 20 degrees. Yeah, 20 degrees. Yeah, okay. Like, yeah, 1 a.m. Pacific time, around 1 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, is our full moon in Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, right? This full moon is really about the truth coming out. That's what I like to think about a Sagittarius full moon, right? Because full moons are always like the result, like the completion, like the final thing, the crescendo, right? And Sagittarius is the sign that rules the truth. What is true? So this full moon, what truth is going to be illuminated? What is going to, right? In the full moon too, it's like nothing is in the dark. Everything gets exposed to the light, right? So again, and with that moon being right next to Donald Trump's moon, I'm like, what truth is going to come out? Are we going to learn more stuff about him or about anything that's going on? Or just in general, in our own lives, we might have some truth revealed to us. This moon is also, about adventure, about exploration, about travel. So it's a time to like maybe be inspired or focus on, what do I want to explore next? And that can be anything. That can be a subject, it can be a hobby, it can be a place, right? It can be a trip you want to plan, it can be a course you want to enroll in, it can be anything. But it's a really nice time to like focus on, what is that thing? What is that next thing I want to explore? Sagittarius too is very optimistic. So overall, this is going to be, a nice feeling moon. This isn't, right, like our heavy, like Scorpio moon or like a really cold Aquarius moon. This is like warm, exciting, optimistic energy. So some of us, yeah, still might feel some emotions, but hopefully they're more like good emotions and like wanting to go cry somewhere. Yeah, and also, right, Sagittarius too is about maybe like the big goals we have for ourselves, our personal growth journey, right? It's also kind of spiritual. So like what are you doing for your spiritual practice? Or what are you doing for your self-development? This moon is a good time to look at that as well. And some people could get news this day. I mean, obviously, we kind of are in graduation season, which lines up with Sagittarius because it rules higher education. So this is a time where, yeah, people get accepted into programs or they're graduating or, you know, things related to education can come up. Yeah, and Sagittarius is just also luck. It's good luck energy. So sometimes on a Sagittarius full moon, people get like an opportunity that comes out of nowhere or just something unexpected that's super positive can happen, or they just go, you know, go to the store and someone gives them something for free. You know, you can just have good luck on this day. Okay, so that's the full moon. And again, too, you can look at what house is Sagittarius in your chart, because that's where this moon is happening at 20 degrees Sagittarius. Okay, going to, and we are building up to, yes, Jupiter is going to square first Saturn. So on June 15th, we are going to have our Jupiter square Saturn. Okay, so this transit is usually not super dramatic, okay? It's not going to be as dramatic as our Uranus-Mars we have later in the month. Saturn-Jupiter is kind of just like, maybe just feeling a little more like spending the day in solitude, being a little more to yourself. It's not super extroverted energy because Saturn actually tends to dominate Jupiter, even though we think, oh, but Jupiter's so big. Can't Jupiter just break through Saturn? Saturn still kind of tends to like dampen like the exuberance of Jupiter. So this is a day, again, it's not going to be like terrible. It's not like, oh, write this down. It's going to be a really bad day. No, but it just might feel a little, yeah, I'm feeling just a little more low energy, or I really don't feel like taking on that extra thing today. Now, because it's Saturn in Aries, could there be confrontation? Yeah, you know, that's possible, depending on, you know, where we are this day. If you have to go to work and you've got to deal with a boss, that Saturn Aries energy could come out. You know, a supervisor, maybe someone higher up than you, could maybe, you know, be upset about something. I don't know. But it is a possibility because it's Saturn in Aries. And on the collective level, this could have to do with financial markets. Sometimes Jupiter Saturn stuff is reflected in like the stock market or the value of things. So we could see some fluctuations around this time. Okay, and then we also, oh, surprise, I forgot. This is the same day that we have the dramatic Uranus-Mars square. So I was thinking it was the day after, but it's the same day. Okay, Mars at 28 degrees Leo, Uranus at 28 degrees of Taurus. This one is dramatic. This is, you know, keywords, combustive, explosive, volatile, you know, it's intense. It's a square. It's Uranus, the planet of like speed, electricity, change, breaking things, and Mars, right? War, fire, speed. So it's like a good metaphor is like, this is an electrical fire. This is like too many fuses get turned on and there's an explosion. Does that mean that's going to happen to all of us in our personal lives? No, but the energy of the day might just feel a little erratic, right? A little disruptive. Like, I don't think this day's not going to feel like there's a lot of flow. Like you might be trying to get something done and you keep getting interrupted, right? Something like that. And yes, so the last time we had this, this alignment was when Trump was shot in the ear, or his assassination attempt. Okay, that was a literal, the violent thing that happened the last, because right, Mars can be violence, and that Uranus, unexpected, sudden, you don't know where it's going to come from. So in the news, yeah, I would expect to see something, some kind of news story. You know, unfortunately, we still have these awful wars going on in the world. So this could be something related to Russia and Ukraine. This could be something Israel and Gaza. You know, it could also be that, or it could just be an isolated terrorist attack somewhere. But yeah, so this day, I know I was just talking about the Saturn and Jupiter. Don't worry about it. No, this day, we want to be a little more cautious. We do want to be more cautious. We don't want to rush. Like, it doesn't matter. Be late to the thing if you're running behind. Do not try to make up for lost time. Don't speed. Don't do things too quickly, because you are more likely to hurt yourself. Okay? And also, too, if you are a person who has a Mars-Uranus aspect in your natal chart, okay, this can also activate that energy in your own chart. So again, just caution, caution, caution. June 15th, okay, so everybody circle that day on your calendar. Caution. Okay, good. Now we're going to move to the 17th, okay, which is when we are going to have Mars ingress into Virgo. There we go. Okay. So Mars has actually been in only 2 signs for like the last 9 months. First, Mars in the fall, in September, Mars went into Leo. We had Mars in Leo for a long time. And then Mars went into Cancer. And then Mars went retrograde in Cancer for almost 3 months. And then it went back into Leo. So we have just had a lot of Mars in Leo, Mars in Cancer for almost a year. So again, kind of like how Venus just went into Taurus, Mars going into Virgo on the 18th is going to feel good. Okay, this is going to feel much better for all of us. Okay, because Mars too, Mars is like, ugh, get me out of those signs. I need something new to do. Give me some projects, right, with Virgo. Mars in Virgo, expert taskmaster, right? Like, okay, we've got the drive, the efficiency, the desire to just like get the work done, right? This is like peak efficiency, Mars in Virgo. You're never going to meet anyone in life more efficient than a person with Mars in Virgo, because it's just about like, okay, refining, decluttering, right? Taking away anything that's not useful, paying attention to the details, right? So this is so good for, yeah, anything related to work, anything related to just projects you want to get done, and that you want to do like very efficiently, right? Very precisely. What else about Mars in Virgo? The only thing about Mars in Virgo, yeah, can sometimes overdo, right? Like the criticism, right? We can kind of focus a little bit more on what's wrong, that's not right. Let's, I need to fix. Yeah, you can fix things, but just make sure you're not like taking it to an extreme where just like everything is wrong. You still have to find the good things too, to balance that energy out. But yeah, Mars is going to be in Virgo, June 18th through August 7th. Okay, so a good chunk of the summer. We have this Mars in Virgo. Really great for anyone, who likes to do gardening or, outdoor projects. This is really good for that too. Yeah, and obviously, if you've got Virgo in your chart, this is sending you some like extra energy, right? You're going to feel a little more energetic, a little more competent when it comes to like doing things. Your physical strength is probably going to feel better. You're going to feel more confident. Okay, on the 18th, we also have, it'll go exact a little later in the day, but basically we have our quarter moon. Okay, so we have our moon in Pisces making a square to our sun in Gemini. Quarter moons, again, they're not super, intense. It's not like nothing life-changing, probably not going to happen on a quarter moon, but there can sometimes just be just a little sense of tension, right? Because it's going to be two signs that are butting heads. Okay, so Gemini versus Pisces, right? This Pisces moon, like just wants to like isolate, leave me alone. I just want to take a bath in peace, right? But this Gemini sun is like, no, we got to get out. We got to do stuff. Remember, you're supposed to have coffee with so-and-so, and then you got to do this, and then you've got to go run those errands. So on this day, it's kind of that. So how do we find the balance? How can we, maybe, yeah, I can commit to like one social thing earlier in the day, but for the evening, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to do my Pisces thing. There can be potential for confusion though, right? Communication might get a little confusing on this day because Pisces can kind of swirl this Gemini information around. So again, just pay close attention to information that's coming to you, and you in turn try to be as clear as you can with whatever you're trying to say. And then this is also the same day. We're having Jupiter square Neptune now. I told you guys we've got so much Cancer versus Aries this month. So Jupiter now squaring Neptune, which again can be maybe some confusion, lack of clarity on this day. Definitely more sensitive. Okay, we're definitely going to feel more sensitive this day. But I will say this day is good for intuition. Your instincts, your intuition, probably going to be really strong. Or stronger than normal. Yeah, and both of these two, the problem with Neptune and Jupiter, though, is neither of them have boundaries, right? Jupiter is like, let's go as big as we can, and Neptune is like, yeah, I hate being confined. I'm the whole universe. Don't put me in a box. So also this day, right? Remember to like focus on things that ground you, or focus on, yeah, trying to contain things, setting boundaries, not just like, don't get swept away with the tide, right? Don't just go along with things just because you think you have to. Be like, no, wait, actually, no, I don't want to do that thing. So yeah, this might be a day too where you might feel like, oh, I feel like I'm just kind of floating around. Go outside, do a meditation, do something to ground yourself on this day, because the energy isn't really there to help us feel grounded. So we might have to implement that grounding ourselves. Okay, good. Now we are getting, wow, June is so busy. Okay, now we move to the solstice, okay, June 20th, 21st. Yes, the summer solstice. This is the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. It has been celebrated for thousands of years, okay? Very special day to all kinds of ancient civilizations. And it's still...
What's up, bud?
Oh, Marcy, did you say something or it was just...
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'll just put it on the mute. So, right, the solstice, this is all about honoring the sun, right? Longest day of the year. The sun is so powerful. We would be nothing without the sun, right? We literally would not be on this earth alive without the sun. So the solstice is just a beautiful time to acknowledge all the gifts, right, that the sun gives us, right? Warmth, helps us grow food, gives us energy, right? All those things. So yeah, solstice, beautiful time to just celebrate life's abundance, right? Just celebrate the sun. It's a big party for the sun. And also it's the day that the sun moves into Cancer. Okay, so we're leaving all that busy Gemini energy behind, moving into Cancer. Again, more sensitive. This is where we're also going to want to focus more on, yes, our personal lives, our personal relationships, whether that's family, close friends, whatever it is. What do we want to nurture in our lives? What do we want to be taking care of? What do we enjoy nurturing and taking care of? Some people, maybe you want to get a new pet around this time, have a cute little animal that you can be taking care of. Yeah, and Cancer too is, yeah, also just focused on the home, right? Literally homes, properties. So again, this is just a nice time to like get your house in order. How can you make your house feel more supportive? Your environment more supportive, more comfortable? Are there improvements you can make? Ooh, yeah, this is something too that I put in the newsletter, because remember, Cancer too, though, is ruled by the moon, okay? And the moon literally changes shape, right? Throughout the whole month. We do not have a crescent moon for like 5 months in a row. No, the moon is always evolving, always changing, right? It's very fluid, okay? That's Cancer energy. Cancer energy is very fluid. Yes, that's why, right? It's got the reputation for being moody. And we usually put, right, kind of a moody, right, a little thing on that. But actually being able to feel emotions as they come and go, it's very powerful, you know, and that's okay. During Cancer season, acknowledge, right? Really take note of like, what am I feeling in this moment? Now I'm moving through my day and now I'm kind of feeling this way, right? Like kind of honoring all of our emotions we feel in a period of time. That's a good thing. And being able to, right, to adapt our emotions to different situations, different environments, right? Some environments call for us to be maybe a little more confident, a little more upbeat. Some events call for us to be a little more calm, a little more sensitive, right? So paying attention to all of that during Cancer season is actually really nice. Cancer season 2, we might be a little more hesitant, okay, to like confront certain things. Because when we think of Cancer, Cancer is the crab, right? And I love telling all my Cancer people this. The crab, right, moves around like this. Crabs don't move directly in a straight line. They go to the side and then they go around and then maybe they go backwards. So we might find ourselves, yeah, doing some crab walking during Cancer season where we're not really sure. We want to take more time to think about what is that decision actually going to be. So that's okay. I say it's okay to be a crab during Cancer season. Okay, and now, because now we've got the sun in Cancer, which means the sun is going to start squaring our Aries, our little Aries duo down here. So on the 22nd, Sun square Saturn, usually a day, yeah, where again, we just feel more restricted. We feel more isolated. We might feel even a little bit more glum. We might feel depressed on this day because Saturn just kind of puts a damper on that like sun energy. So it's like not feeling as confident, not feeling as expressive, feeling a little more to ourselves. And yeah, again, there could be a conflict, you know, Saturn versus the sun. Both of these planets do like to be in charge on some level. They do like to have some sense of authority on some level. So yeah, this could be a conflict, you know, in a relationship in your life, or maybe just, you know, again, like work environment stuff, relationships. But most likely it would likely probably have to do with a family member, or maybe even a female, a woman in your life, because we are into Cancer now. So yeah, but not a huge deal. Again, this is only going to last for a day, not anything we need to be super worried about. And then the next day, we're going to have the sun squaring Neptune, which Sun square Neptune is kind of just like, could be a feeling of just like kind of feeling lost. Like, wait, what direction am I supposed to be going in? Am I headed in the right direction? I just feel a little more, yeah, confused today. And I know I say that word a lot with Neptune, but it's because it's one of the most accurate descriptions. So feeling just a little confused about our identity, the path we're supposed to be taking. But again, this only lasts for a day. So not anything that's going to disrupt our entire month. Okay. Then on the 24th, okay, we have our Jupiter-Sun conjunction in Cancer. This is actually nice. Okay, this is kind of the opposite of that Sun Saturn energy. This is like very expansive. We're feeling very confident. We feel very expressive. We feel good about ourselves. We feel, yeah, and too, like very adventurous. This is also a day where it's like you might want to, yeah, take a random road trip, or maybe you're already going out of town this day, but this is very much explorative energy. And actually, would be nice too for like some kind of family gathering, or some kind of family project, maybe you're gonna spend some time, you know, going through your ancestry, going through records, going through your family tree. This is also kind of a nice alignment for something like that. Or you're gonna, you know, call up some family members, ask some questions. Oh, do you remember about, you know, grandma so and so? What was she about? Yeah, but also nice for gathering, nice for anything creative too, especially if it's related to like food, right? Because Cancer too is also like our master baker, master chef. So like having people over for a dinner party, cooking a new recipe, baking a cake, something like that. Really nice for this day. Oh, yay. Okay. Then we have our new moon in Cancer. Okay, so this is going to be on the 25th, yes, a little earlier at 4 degrees. 4 degrees, okay, our new moon in Cancer. Okay, very special new moon, right? Because Cancer rules the moon. So whenever the moon is home in Cancer, it's strong moon energy, right? And then lining up with the sun. And then we're also getting some of that Jupiter energy as well, because Jupiter is still pretty close by. So this is very healing energy. It's very sensitive. This is more emotional, okay? This is different than our full moon in Sagittarius. It's kind of more upbeat. The new moon in Cancer is a little more, yeah, in our feelings. We might be more sensitive this day. We might cry a little easier on this day. Things might upset us a little bit more easily on this day. But that's okay, because that's literally what Cancer is just feeling your emotions. Also really good though for like setting intentions, right? Our new moons, always when we want to start something, when we want to plant seeds, right? And for this, you know, Cancer, if you want to work with specific Cancer energy, this can be for, yeah, family relationships or living situations, improvements to your home, right? Setting those kind of intentions. Really good for new moon in Cancer. Now with Jupiter here, Jupiter actually might make us feel even more sensitive than just a typical new moon in Cancer. Because Jupiter is here kind of expanding all of that Cancer energy. So if you are super sensitive around the 25th, yeah, I definitely, because of all of this that's going on. Okay. Then we have on the 26th, we have Mercury is going to leave. Oh, the 26th. I think I actually said the 27th, so I was a day off. But the 26th, 27th is when Mercury is going to leave Cancer and go into Leo, okay? Mercury in Leo, where it is going to be, okay, until September 3rd. And that is because, yes, in July, we are going to have Mercury retrograde that's going to slow things down. So I know we're not in July yet, but Mercury, yeah, is going to be retrograde in Leo July 18th through August 11th. Just FYI. So we've got a long time of this Mercury and Leo energy, but Mercury and Leo, really good for, yes, creativity, right? Leo rules creativity. So any kind of creative projects, this is really good for. It's also good for just confidence in your intellectual abilities, in your speaking abilities. This is when, you know, like if you've got to do any kind of presentation or you've got to give a speech or you've got to hand in, you know, writing of some sort that's important. Mercury here it's very confident. So it's giving us that boost of confidence. You know, it's also very entertaining language, right? So this is like being able to tell like a really great story and everyone's like, oh my gosh, that was the best story I've ever heard you tell. It's like that Leo, right? The performer kind of comes in and can help us like tell a really entertaining story. Leo is also known too, though, for being dramatic. So yeah, people can maybe be a little more dramatic with Mercury and Leo. People may be wanting to, you know, make something bigger than it is, or just maybe wanting to get into more intense conversations, debates, that sort of thing, with the drama. So also, yeah, in the news, could we have some dramatic stories come out? Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, overall, it's just very bold, very bright, very expressive communication. It can also be romantic. Okay, Leo also rules romance. So you might find yourself just like thinking about romance a little bit more, or wanting to, you know, speak to your, you know, your significant other, maybe with a little more loving words, appreciative words. Okay, can be that too. And then, oh my goodness, okay, we're almost done, you guys. We're almost there. June was a lot. June 28th, we have our Mercury in Leo, okay? Mercury in Leo makes a trine to, and it kind of happens in the same day, makes a trine to this Neptune and Saturn in Aries, okay? So this is interesting because it's right getting both of these influences. The Neptune makes this like very creative, very like poetic. This is like really great for writing, great for meditating, great for journaling. Also, just like your intuition gets really intensified during this transit. But then also Saturn here kind of gives us, though, some like practicality, which is actually a good thing, because Neptune, we can kind of sometimes, like I say, get like swept away into some like crazy ideas that maybe aren't as realistic. But Saturn here kind of helps to ground us and be like, oh, that's a good idea. How can I do it realistically? Right? It's like Venus is the muse, and then Saturn is like, yeah, and this is how you can do it for real. So it's not just a fantasy. So yeah, really good for, again, right, writing projects, creative projects on June 28th. And then we end the month with, on the 29th, with our Pluto Mercury opposition. Okay, Mercury is going to oppose Pluto here in Aquarius. This is usually Pluto, Mercury, usually about secrets. Usually, because right, that's Pluto is like we're exposing the dirt and the grime and the cockroaches. Okay, so, and it's Mercury, so information, right? What's going to be exposed? Again, yeah, maybe we learn something in our personal lives on this day. Or we're going to have some kind of news that comes out where some secret is revealed, something gets exposed. Okay, maybe some kind of scandal comes out. Could be something new, could be something related to things you've already seen this year. But yeah, also it can just be like very intense communication. Watch out for like manipulative communication, controlling communication. Yeah, those are just things to watch for with this one. And that is it, everyone. Congratulations, you made it through June. Does anyone have any questions, or is everyone just like overwhelmed?
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how to help you with them.
I think everyone's just overwhelmed, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot, right? Yeah, well, happy June, everyone. I hope all those good transits work out the way we want to, and we will just be cautious on those days that we're supposed to be. Okay, everyone, I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you, Tara.